What up, what up, what up? What is happening, good people? Welcome to episode 2 of Herb & 2. Got here at the Herb & 2 studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. So we get together, we talk about issues that currently impact the black community. We talk about how those issues impact us as individuals, and we also talk about how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank you so very much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is appreciated. Leave some comments. We will read through as many of them as possible. We would kindly request that you please make sure you take a quick second to like the video, subscribe to the page, set the alerts so you get reminders when the page goes live, and also share the video with at least one friend. We would greatly, greatly appreciate all of those things. Again, this is Herb & 2. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. What's happening, good brother?
Family, what up, though? I'm blessed and highly favored, man. We gotta change that intro, G.
You don't like it anymore?
It seems academic, right?
I'm an academic.
Yeah, like I said, it seems academic. And I don't know if we need to create like a different energy feel or some shit. You know what I mean? Maybe I like it for the lives and the Mondays and the intellectual conversations.
Right.
And not to say this isn't an intellectual conversation, but I don't know. You know, when you think about the tagline of, the Lauryn Hill line of adding the motherfucker so the ignorant niggas hear me.
That's why you here.
The ignorant niggas cut off before you get to talking.
That's why you here.
So you're the academic and I'm the ignorant nigga?
I'm the intellect.
Let's play it like that. Come on, let's play it like that. Let's play it like that. This whole day today, let's play it like that.
I'm the intellect and you're the thug.
I'm with it. I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm cool.
Speaking of, that
I've been confused as a thug for a long time.
On the Herb & 2 website. A lot of different merch available on
and
the
intellectual thug hat that I got on the 5-panel camper. You know what I mean? Fresh to death. You know what I mean?
I can dig it. Make sure y'all check out the Herb & 2 website for more things that are up there and available. Also, don't miss the opportunity to become an official dirtbag. That is the Herb & 2 members only gang on Patreon. We do a lot of different content up there as well. But
you can also cop the official dirtbag crew neck on the website.
You can, but I don't think you should false flag. I think you should be an official dirtbag if you're gonna cop it.
Yeah, I'm with both.
We should make that only available to the dirtbags.
No, it's available to everybody. We're capitalists. This dope sells to everybody. Yeah.
Whoever's smoking it. No, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good just about the process of life and growth and where I'm at personally, where we at, in terms of this journey with Herb & 2, the challenges and how we go about overcoming them, and the connectivity, the cooperation, the collective work that goes into it, man. I'm blessed by my village, you know what I mean? In my personal life, my family, my mom, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my friends, my partners. I just feel I'm aware that I got good people around me, and it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, I don't have none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm wavering, right? And I think it's interesting in that context. But I'm being honest. I'm being so honest.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you need the storm before the clear weather. You know what I mean? And the storm is all internal. Be clear. You know what I mean? It's just it's encompassing my entire life, though.
That's interesting.
My son is 18. It's a pivotal point in his life. What happens next? And it scares the shit out of me. And that's just with my son. But it's across the board in the trajectory, right? But I embrace the turmoil. Because I know on the other end of that is growth.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that's an interesting conversation to have too, right? I think we oftentimes avoid the pain when pain is the pathway to growth.
Yeah, I think that we don't give pain is just due just in general. I just don't think that we give pain the credit that it deserves, if you will, right? I think pain is one of the more phenomenal things that the Creator ever did. You know what I mean? Just as an alarm system that something is off and needs to be realigned. And I don't know that a pain-free life would yield positive results.
A pain-free life would yield nothing but pain.
It would yield destruction, even if you didn't feel the pain. You know what I'm saying? So like, to have a broke leg and not know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that nothing hurt, but you can't walk though.
It's the pain of sacrifice or the pain of failure, bro. It just is what it is, right? I saw something today, a quote that said, you can fail to success. You cannot make excuses to success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But through that failure, through success, you're engaging yourself through the pains of failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you could avoid the pain and make excuses. You'll never reach the goal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an interesting conversation.
That's what I'm saying about the broken leg analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel the pain. You can keep on, dragging yourself along, not knowing why you slow. You're like, oh, I'm just slow. I'm slow. If you fix your leg, you know what I'm saying, heal the issue, then you can get back to a more rapid pace, a more efficient, productive pace. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of times we do want to avoid that pain. I think we see that in relationships. I know that's one of the things we want to get into today. This idea of relationships, especially for men. This idea of having genuine friendships. But I think even that requires a level of courage or willingness to face pain or accountability that I don't think is all that desired in today's society. You know what I mean? Where I don't think people really want people holding up a mirror to them. Even people that love them and care about them. Like, I don't think people really want that. It's like, just leave me the fuck alone and let me rock how I want to rock. And it's led to, you were showing me some statistics before the cameras came on, 20% of, less than 20% of single men in America say they have like genuine friendships. Is that what it said?
There was an article that was released not so long ago that said American men are stuck in what's being dubbed as a friendship recession.
Right.
Right. And then it says 20% of single men are now saying that they don't have any close friends, and it's at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's interesting in regards to like same-sex relationships, friendships type of deal. I'm not homosexuality, just genuine friendships, right? Yeah. Platonic friendships. But I think it plays out into the concept of romantic relationships as well, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's a culture that's being shaped by the world that we're bringing into play, right? So the reason why that was even interesting to me is like, in the space that I hold right now, I'm in truth, I'm ravishingly handsome, but I'm an elder. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In reality, I'm an elder, bro, and I know most people don't believe it. You know what I mean?
That you're ravishingly handsome? Or
they know that. That's obvious. You know what I'm saying? Can't deny that part of this shit. Get my Billy D on, you know what I'm talking about? Hey. You know I'm old, just saying Billy D. You know what I mean? Who, nigga? But when I look at like the
master of the light skin look away.
Got that
covered. Shout out to Max. She put that on your thing.
Yeah, she know, because I created that term. You know what I mean? I created that energy. You know what I mean? But the point I'm saying is just like, when I look at like my nephews, when I look at like my little cousins, when I look at like even my son for that matter, right. Like how much friendships matter to me in their age brackets, it's not relatable. Like I got an 18-year-old son. My nephew, the eldest, is probably in his late 20s now, 27 or something like that. And besides that, the youngest male family members that I could think of are the twins, which are TJ's little brothers. So they in their mid-30s, right? Mm-hmm. The twins, they came to the planet together, so they have a certain kind of bond that I don't really see amongst none of the rest of us.
Hey, I'm sorry to pause you. I saw a video of some twins, Joe. Tweaked me out. And I don't know if it was real or not. I think it probably could be, though. This man got twins. One is a girl, one is a boy. He's got them standing on opposite sides of a divider, right? And he's got the girl holding up a random number of fingers. her twin brother calls out the number every time as soon as
can feel it.
He can feel like that she did some 4 shit or some 2 shit. Like I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I don't doubt it either.
You know, but when I think of my twin little cousins, again, they're the youngest in our first generation of our family. But they still 37, 38, shit, they might be 40 at this point, I don't know. But they got a wealth of friends. Now, they don't fuck with us. Right? They don't move like the rest of the cousins.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They got their own little shit.
Sure.
But it's a gang of them that's always around.
Yeah.
And, you know, they 40. So I know they friends like I know them.
Yeah.
I call them my little cousins at this point. You know what I mean? But then we get lower than that generation. And like I said, my nephew that's in his, you know, mid to late 20s, I can't particularly speak to who his roadies are. You know what I mean? But if I go through all the males in my family above that, I know their networks.
Their immediate crew.
I know their crews.
Right.
You know what I mean? Very, very well.
Yeah.
And as we go down, it's like, you know, my son is 18. I mean, he has, you know, it'd be a bunch of, you know, I'm the house where the kids come anyway.
Sure.
But it's not no like consistent group that I know this is who he really rocking with. You know what I mean?
Right.
He changed people out like he changed niggas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think about that in the context of value, man. Like, I really got like 3 sets of friends. Right? I got my neighborhood homies that I grew up with, like from 95th Street. And out of that group of whatever started maybe 12, 13, maybe 3 of us are bonded.
Right.
You know what I mean? In my particular sector.
Yeah.
And out of the other 12, there's probably 3 bonded in their particular sector.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Then I count my cousins as my lifelong friends. You know what I mean? And then there's my college homies that are lifelong friends. You know what I mean? But I don't see that with the younger generations. And I think about it in the context of how they're being cultured just to live their life, right? Ain't no basketball at the court.
Right.
You don't see young kids riding the bikes down the streets.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's really no socialization that bonds them other than shit is organized.
One of the things I love to do in the summertime, and I noticed that I didn't do it a single time this past summer 23, and I'm hoping that I get to do it more in 24. But it wasn't to my fault. Like, I like to, while I'm riding around going about my day, if I see shorties, you know how they'll have like the basketball rim set up on the block or a crate or whatever the hell, I always stop and bet them to money that they can. I don't bet them. I tell them, I'll give you this bread if you hit that shot. You know what I mean? I didn't get to do that not one time. Not one time. And it's one of my favorite things to do because it's just a brief interaction with the shorties. They get excited. They get to talk stuff to each other. They make the shot or don't make the shot. I didn't see it not one time. Not one time riding around all summer did I see that. And it's like, damn, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? That's where you form those nucleus. Like that's where those things come from, man. For me, growing up, like from like 13 to 18, 19, people knew like who I was gonna be with at all times. Like at all times, you couldn't reach me. You knew you could call Dez, you can call Diop, you can call Matt. One of them you know what I'm saying? And people also knew that when I showed up, they was gonna show up too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like that. It was just the crew. Like, y'all all together. Yep. And so the girls we talked to, we probably talked to all their friends too, because you might as well bring all 3 of your homegirls over here too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what it was. So, when I got to high school, I didn't really make no like lifelong friendships in high school. A couple, you know what I'm saying? Me and Reggie super cool. Me and Ashley always be cool. I'm cool with a lot of people from high school. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like people that I just consistently talk to on a regular basis, where we talk more than a couple times a week or something like that. If we talk that many times a week, like I don't really have that. But I didn't.
That's interesting.
I wasn't
right?
seeking that in high school. I had that already.
That anchoring though, think about like high school is like is kind of sold as this pivotal moment in your life.
Yeah.
Right. I used to think about that in context of the black community because we don't have an expectation of going past that in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't have no long-term friendships from high school either.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting. Like, and there was some dudes I was close to at school, but After that, it was a done deal. Now, college is a very different thing. I have lifelong friends from college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think about how high school is kind of predicated, but it's also in this moment in space where you're finding yourself, right? You're adapting or growing or changing into these other things. But the reason why that whole article was interesting to me is because I think, you know, the basis of why we started doing this pod was like, one, we have an anchoring in blackness, but two, we also have an anchoring in masculinity. And I think there's a necessity for men to have those kind of bonds.
I do too.
Right? And, you know, there's always these overarching conversations about agendas and, you know, the gay agenda, the agenda to feminize the black man, and everybody's fighting against it depending on what side you line up on. Right? But there are some unique and distinct differences between how men bond and how women bond, and the values of those bonds in those people's lives. I grew up with a sister.
Yeah.
My sister never had a friendship of value in my perception. You know what I mean? In my opinion, she never had a friendship of value. Right? It was people that fit in for what they fit in for.
Sure.
And that's what they was for.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was nothing that really anchored her in, and you know, rest in peace. But I remember having a conversation with my sister on her deathbed, and it was about one of her closest friends in that moment in time, and it was a conversation that hinged on trust, and I'm not going to get into the depths of the conversation, but I asked my sister, because the way she was communicating, I was like, per how I viewed that person, per how I viewed the situation that you're currently in, we all know you're transitioning, I was confused as fuck, and I said, hey man, don't you trust such and such? And her response to me was, I don't trust nobody. And I said, nobody? And she was like, nobody. And I was thinking like, damn, that's got to be a tremendously lonely existence.
It's gotta be.
You know what I mean?
It's gotta be.
Tremendously lonely, right? And I've never operated in that space. Even how we hear the conversation. Like, what do you value, love or loyalty? Or you hear rap music and loyalty is loyalty is loyalty. I don't think I've ever questioned one of my people's loyalty in my life. Like, it's not even a conversation that I have. Either I'm fucking with you or I ain't fucking with you. Now, I know I'm very rigid in that construct. I know everybody don't move like me. But the people that I consider to be close to me, that's not even a thought.
Nah, people who know me well will always tell you that, like, I'm fiercely loyal. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something I just don't question it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, shout out to Drink Champs. One of the questions they always ask their guests is loyalty or respect. And people get their answers to whatever, and I don't think it's a right or wrong answer, but for me, it's always loyalty, right? Because I might not, in a moment or in a given situation, I might not really respect what you're doing right now. Like, I don't really agree with what you're doing right now. But I'm loyal to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm never gonna do nothing to smoke you, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different situation. Now, if I don't respect you, that's a whole, we're probably not friends like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if we friends to the point where loyalty is on the table, then that even more so than me respecting every single decision you make. I ain't gonna agree with every fucking decision none of my friends make in their life. But my loyalty leads me to their side. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people have that. We joke a lot, and I don't speak for women, but from the outside looking in, it seems like a lot of the women that I know, their friendships are slotted. This is my shopping friend. This is my travel friend. This is my church friend. You know what I'm saying? And for most of the men I know that have those close circles, these are just my friends. You know what I'm saying? We might do all of that shit together. You know what I'm saying? And I just, you know, I'm sure women have those relationships where they do, and I know some that have relationships with friends that do all of those things, but to
it's
me,
a rarity.
It seems more slotted than just, it's my friend.
Mm-hmm. But to me, I'm looking at the design, right? Because back to that, the agendas, the feminization, the homosexual, the agenda-based constructs, right? I said earlier that when agendas align, there's no need to have a meeting. right? And what I mean by that is we have these kind of these conversations where it's like before the cameras came on, we talked about somebody being an industry plant, right, or a conspiracy theory. We think of them as like somebody sitting in a dark room designing this idea.
No.
If your agenda is this and my agenda is this, and what you need to get to your agenda, I can push my agenda in. I don't get to talk to you ever.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So in the construct of the feminization concept, I don't think it's just black-centered. I think it's male-centered, right? Because I think the world is changing. Right? If you think about the value of masculinity traditionally, right, it's labor, it's hard work, it's defense. Well, if we create a society where computers are going to do all the fucking labor, then you got to reevaluate your value. You have to. You understand?
Yeah.
A friend of mine today was online doing a video, and he was doing it in a joking manner, but it plays into the same conversation. He was like, what's the youngest people, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever the fuck it is.
So.
14, 15, 19, whatever that age group is. He was like, man, they got a mastery of the digital space, but they don't have basic skills for life.
No,
and he was like, point one, and he's showing his nephew using a can opener for the first time.
Yeah.
That shit seems like, it's funny.
Right.
But most of the food in my house as a young shorty was in the can. Right?
Yeah.
Certain shit you just
need to know how to do.
Right? But that's back, and I ain't saying the can opener is manhood.
That's just an example.
It's just an example, right? So, man, you've had that conversation where I told you, like, before I could get in the car, my father made me learn how to change brakes and rotors and tires, and you ain't gonna be in my shit without having this kind of information.
Basic.
My sister was older than me, so she had a license before me. She didn't have to learn none of that shit, because if her car breaks down, my daddy's getting on that highway to go get her ass.
Right.
You, nigga, you break down, you better figure it out.
Figure it out, right.
It is what it is, right? But we don't oftentimes anchor ourselves in understanding that through the lens of masculine and feminine, right? But as we move to this more digitized society where labor is no longer necessary, you have to redefine manhood.
Yeah.
And these are the results. I don't need buddies, right? Because what you get from your buddies, you learn how to engage through aggression.
Yeah.
You learn how to manage aggression, because somebody in that group gonna beat your ass.
Somebody gonna beat your ass. Somebody gonna try you.
Somebody is going to beat your ass. It ain't about everybody gonna try you, but it's gonna be somebody that can beat your ass.
Yeah.
So you got to gauge whether or not I want to take it this far.
Yeah.
Now you're processing logic.
Yes.
Yes, it's not emotional no more. He can fuck me up.
No, I've had those moments.
I've also had those moments.
I've been super pissed, and I'm like, I
know where this shit gonna go.
I would fuck Diop up if he wouldn't fuck me up.
If he wouldn't fuck me up. You understand what I'm saying?
I would beat the fuck out Diop if he wouldn't beat the fuck out of me.
But I already know how this gonna end, so let me shut the fuck up. Right? That's a lesson. You understand what I'm saying? That's a lesson that every male needs.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So even in the savagery of the violence that we see out here, also a response to the lack of understanding of relationships.
Right.
Also a response to the detachment of violence through video games and all that shit.
Right.
All of this shit is being manufactured, right? The goddamn way we engage in in romantic relationships, right? I told you not too long ago, man, I heard the word incel, and my ignorant ass for the longest time, I thought I knew what it meant, and I didn't. You know what I mean? Incel means involuntarily celibate. That's crazy. I associated that shit with terrorism.
Oh, that's nuts.
It's an acronym for being involuntarily celibate, right? I also told you about when we did.
That seems difficult. From the way I came up, I know it's very relevant today. We've seen the statistics about how few men are having sex. I'm talking 20 to 29 or 20 to 34, whatever it was.
When you should be fucking.
This is when it should be cracking for you. And it's like, wait, what? You're involuntarily not getting none? How, Sway? How?
Yeah,
and I'm not encouraging you to go buy it, but it should just be a thing that happens for you.
Even that, you just said I'm not encouraging you to go buy it, right? And I'm not saying prostitution is new. Prostitution is the digital space is new contextually into time for time, right? It makes it much more available, makes it much more easy. If you think about it, right? I know in Japan they have vending machines where you could buy a woman's panties.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know that.
Right?
I know
So
that's
dudes
true.
is buying and smelling panties because
Worn
they
panties.
don't have the social skills to engage women to have sex. Well, if your ass is playing video games all day, or if you're on Instagram all day and you've never physically had to approach a woman, you don't have the social skills to reach the goal, with the exception of through the DM. And what's the DM for a woman? It's a fucking catalog of who I want to pick and choose.
That's what I was going to say. Is the digital prostitution adding to this involuntary celibacy for so many men? Right?
I think the women know the value.
This price placed on box is canceling out niggas as even options. You know what I mean? He doesn't qualify.
So
whether it's real or not, it's like, shorty, I don't think you're worth shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like we was talking about on the live show on Monday, like perception can be reality. You know what I'm saying? So if the perception is my box is worth a trip to Bali and whatever the fuck, then niggas that's not taking you to Bali is not boning. And then over time, again, true or not, the men internalize that, start to feel unworthy, unqualified, stop even pursuing the box. I will subscribe to 33 OnlyFans pages and beat off all meat.
Right?
As though I am in prison.
But sex is a necessity.
Sir, there are women out here.
But sex is a necessity though, right?
Yeah.
So you'll beat your meat to OnlyFans for X amount of whatever time.
Yeah.
And then how much is that pussy?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think women understand the market.
Yeah.
Right? As opportunity dwindles too. Because it's across the board. It's not like the digital space is just gonna cut out men. Mm-hmm. It's cutting out people.
And then they start to justify it. You start to justify it in your mind. Oh, this is easy. I pay the $10 a month and I get my little nut off or whatever, and I don't got to talk to her, deal with her, go off the band, or I go buy the box and I have this one-time transaction and I bone and I don't got to talk to her. You niggas got to listen to your woman talk. Like, man, you're justifying some stupid shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think over time that happens.
And I think it's not even a new conversation, right? I know some old heads that used to buy vagina.
And they would say,
I pay
nephew,
him to
I don't
leave.
pay him to come. I pay him to leave.
Right?
Right.
Now, context is important. I know these dudes from a perspective of me being a young guy and them being older men. Mm-hmm. Right? I hadn't had the experiences that they had. I'm ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean? So old man tell me, I don't pay him to come, I pay him to leave. It sounds cool
too, right?
You know what I'm saying? I get it, it's some cool shit. But now looking back in reverse, bro, you might have been the dude that had some insecurities that couldn't close the deal without the capital. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because you couldn't close the deal without the capital, here's an easy way to negotiate your need.
Because as an adult, as a free-thinking man, mm-hmm. paying anybody to leave is crazy to me. Hey, leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Like, this has been wonderful. It's time for you to go somewhere else. It's herb time now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's nuts.
But in that power shift too, right? We're influenceable people.
Sure.
Right? So we start thinking about, and be clear, when you think about, again, that conspiracy concept, right? As the culture shifts, certain power shifts happen, even if it's just in ideas, right? Mm-hmm. So I just said, I'm Billy D. Williams.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go back to the Billy D. Williams movies that he was in. Billy D. was smoking cigarettes. He mm-hmm. was in a suit. Mm-hmm. He had a certain kind of sidewalk fest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's not the debonair dude today.
No.
The debonair dude today probably got on some big ass shoes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some bedazzled shit.
Sure.
Whatever it is, I don't know, right?
Whatever.
It's just a different image.
It's a different image.
Right? And I'm saying all that to say that in the Billy D era, there was a push to, specifically Billy D, because he was black, and that was at a time when black people wasn't on the screen like that. Mm-hmm. There was a definite agenda to push a strong black male character, mm-hmm. right? He was kind of the antithesis, you say that word?
Antithesis.
That shit, yeah. Of, let's say, Priest from Superfly.
Sure.
Right? y'all ain't old enough to understand this shit. I ain't even old enough to understand this, but I'm close enough to the generation to have conversation with people who understood it. When Superfly came to the theaters, it was black people protesting that shit. Like, we ain't celebrating no fucking pimp culture. Well, who the fuck would be protesting that? Men who was like, nigga, this ain't no example of mass manhood. Fuck out, you know what I mean? Get that goofy, this nigga got a perm. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? This was the same time when Shav was out. Shav had the fro and I'm knocking niggas out. You know what I mean? So when you come in with the priest character and now it becomes the preeminent character, you know what I mean? He really, in a lot of ways, most pimps resemble women. And women in feminine behavior. And what's a pimp do? He pimps whatever he can. A prostitute. He takes advantage of.
Low self-esteem.
What's a man do? A man builds.
Right.
I ain't got to take advantage of. I'm capable of creating.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you start moving away from that shit, whether it's a public conspiracy or a known conspiracy, with the new shift in how industry and economy and all that shit works, what you're creating is a feminized man. And now you can't even have a fucking friend.
That was the difference in how I related as a boy and how I relate currently as a man. It was absolutely, oh, she looks like her father didn't love her. Which, she looks like her father didn't love her, and therefore...
Hey man, we used to go to parties like, where's the ones with the low self-esteem?
You know what I'm saying?
You can point them out.
There are things to be expected from that premise, right? Manipulating, you know what I'm saying? Taking advantage of a broken person. Now as a man, I don't relate like that. I build, like you said. It's not about manipulating and taking advantage.
As a man, you run from that.
Building, as a man, you run from that.
Because you know the struggle that they incur. You don't want that raising your children.
It's not real.
You don't want that raising your children.
Yeah, that's not real. So now I build the relationships that I do want, not take advantage of some low-hanging fruit shit.
Yeah, you don't want to be responsible for her insecurities.
No.
I don't want to deal with that shit.
Because they will manifest.
Yeah, you irritate the fuck out of me. I don't want to call you every day. I don't want to have to reassure you that you cute. I don't have to reassure you. I want to tell you where the fuck I am all day long.
Yes.
But that's what happens in those situations.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And once you get anchored to that shit in any kind of way that matters to you, you're in quicksand, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting thing, man. But when I saw that, and because I relate to it in the context of watching my family members, my young male family members, it's like, damn, what happens?
It is what happens, man. I think not having those relationships, which you also learn when you have those close-knit groups like that, you learn from each other's mistakes. Like, y'all kind of subconsciously raise each other through trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Like, with everything from relationships to jobs to children and all of that stuff, we experience together. You know what I'm saying?
I heard some shit, and I can't quote it verbatim, but it was talking about the difference in men's value to a child's life, specifically to a boy's life, versus women's value to a younger girl's life. And it was a woman saying this. And again, I'm not quoting it verbatim, so it might get messed up a little bit. But she said something about elder women still see themselves through the lens of their youth. So instead of mentoring and raising up most women, and I'm painting with a broad brush, they see themselves as competition to those younger women. Right? And they said, whereas elder men don't see themselves as competition to the younger boys, they see themselves as mentors, and I need to educate you going forward. And I think about that in the context, even Uncle Walt, right? Me and Uncle Walt has always had a great relationship since I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
He called you?
He might have, I don't know.
For some reason, I always assume when he calls me, I'm like, he probably called too as well.
I don't know. I don't look at the phone. You know that. But either way, the point I'm making is this. Uncle Walt has been in my life all my life, right? But he's always been Uncle Walt. Now, I know Uncle Walt always had a special affinity for me, right? But my daddy was around too. Right. And I had a special affinity to my daddy. Not to say minimize Uncle Walt, But when my father died, bro, I was a grown man. But I saw, for like a year, I felt myself seeking out an elder man.
Yeah, somebody to fill
to
that void.
engage and fill that void. And Uncle Walt filled that space in. I bring that forth today, man, because I had like a 2-hour long conversation with one of my best friends the other day, because he was going through some shit that was, he had some concerns about.
Sure.
Right, and I'm not gonna get into the details of that, but we had like a 2-hour long conversation. And I brought that conversation to the forefront. Like, man, I sought out Uncle Walt for XYZ unconsciously.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unconsciously, I'm looking for somebody to fill his void. And he was like, man, G, he was like, I got my dad, they got a certain kind of relationship. He's like, but I seek that, and that doesn't never stop. He's like, I seek it through you. I seek it through one of our other partners. And I was, again, bringing us back to the conversation we're having. Like, that is a lifelong thing. It never goes away, right? Nigga, me, you, that's them two.
Yeah.
Part of this shit is that community.
100%.
You know what I mean? All of us got some shit that we go do to be with that community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it wasn't for my fucking hip, I would still hoop twice a week, because it gives me entree to that community and energy. You know what I mean? But
Barbershops are like that.
barbershops, right? Yeah, real shit. It's interesting, man. And again, I say, what happens when that goes away?
Yeah, when you don't have it, I think it throws the whole thing off, man. I really do. And so, like, as we advanced into manhood, right, and started to find our own ways and have our own families and this, and that, and third, relationships and houses and shit, me and my brothers weren't as close, right? Not like love each other any less, but we were not as close. We didn't see each other all the time. We didn't talk all the time. We didn't do shit. And shout out to Darius. Just in the past few years, he's been very intentional about making sure we
Everybody
get back on
stays
that.
connected.
You know what I mean? Even if it's just been a while, some motherfuckers, so he just put in the group chat. Everybody check in. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Diop coach basketball at Thornwood now, so Darius be like, "Yo, Diop got a game. Let's roll." Like, so like that type of stuff is making sure we just stay in touch, and you need that shit. But when we were apart, I absolutely felt something was missing in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was that close all the time, 24/7. We was together. You know what I'm saying? So when that wasn't the case, I absolutely felt that missing, but not immediately. It just happened slowly, and it's like, damn, we don't fucking be together or even talk like much no more. It's like, what the fuck happened? Well, you got married and you had kids, and Matt worked back and forth from here to Houston. And it's like, well, damn. You know what I'm saying?
But even with that, right? I think that's cultural too, right? Like, we start acquiescing to, Mr. Farrakhan has a statement that he says, if your woman's a slave, she gonna make you a slave. And that might be seen in a derogatory or negative connotation, but what it really is saying is that you are going to acquiesce to your woman's desires. That's not necessarily the design. That's not necessarily how it's supposed to be.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Even as a bonded union, a family, you still have to have some disconnectivity to be you.
Right.
Right? So that boys trip to go watch the game shit. And a lot of men don't do none of that shit because it's like, my wife gonna be mad.
I gotta come home.
But that shit is necessary.
And what's crazy is it's necessary on both ends.
Yeah.
Like, it's necessary for you to have those bonds, but it's also necessary for you to maintain a healthy relationship with your partner. Like, I'm sick of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't speak to women. I would assume you would be sick of me too.
I'm sure you would be sick of me too. And then at some point, you wake up X amount of years later and you realize that
Because I'd be sick.
You've lost parts of yourself. It's like, damn, I've lost part of myself. And then the resentment sets in. And then now y'all ain't gonna work either. I know for sure that's what happened in one of the things that happened in my marriage was like, we both got so far away from who the fuck we were. It's like, nigga, that's who the fuck I liked. You ain't her no more, and I ain't even him no more. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of drove each other away from those people. And it's like, damn, like that was the motherfucker that I liked, and I made you somebody different, and you did the same to me. And now you pull up in the motherfucking driveway like, God damn, I gotta go in here with this motherfucker.
How do you
crazy.
create a counterculture to this shit though, bro? Like, the digital space is what it is. It's the digital space. Well, let me say this. I see the digital space one way, then, you know, we had an experience this weekend that made me see the digital space very differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think we give it more power than it actually has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people don't go online, G.
At all. You know what I mean?
Some people don't have cell phones, G.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you do not have to subscribe to this bullshit. You don't have to do it.
That's real, man. But
and even if you do, you can still a la carte the shit to be what you want it to be. You don't have to let it control you. It could be a very useful tool. Like technology and the internet and all that shit could be an extremely useful tool if you control it. I think for the most part, we let it control us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's also generational, right? Mm-hmm. Some of it is generational. But I think I use social media a lot. I really do. Right. But at the same time, I really don't. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting, my relationship with social media. Because I leverage it as a tool to get what I want to get accomplished. Yeah. But I don't really give a fuck what you doing, whomever you are on social media. People like, you ain't see it on no, nigga, you follow me. I don't really follow you. You understand what I'm saying? That might sound arrogant, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Real. I don't have time to be interested in what the fuck you got going on. No, that's real. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I want you to be interested in what the fuck I got going on.
Because what I got going on is important.
It's way more important than your ass. That sounds narcissistic as fuck and arrogant, and that's really what it is. But it's also what shaped my relationship.
That's what we're having this conversation. I feel that right now. I feel like all the bullshit that y'all listen to on the internet, y'all should listen to this because this is what fucking matters, and then you understand why all these relationships are breaking down, why you're mentally and emotionally breaking down your own damn self. Like, is that arrogant? Is that my own self-interest? Maybe, but I still believe it.
I think we've all had these kind of experiences, right? Like, specifically, you know, we got some levels of notoriety, right? Specifically in this city, right? I've been places and people like, hey, man, how you doing? And I'm so-and-so. You don't know me? And I be like, where would I know you from? And they're like, man, I follow you on. Man, I wouldn't fucking know you at all.
Right.
I might have had conversations with you, but because of how I engage, you've came to my location to talk to me about some shit that I said or something I done. Right. I ain't going to research who the fuck you are. I ain't going to memorize your image from your pic. I'm not vested like that. I don't care. You know what I mean? But it's become such a cultural thing, and I'm saying that's unique to Tucson. I know several people who build relationships through social media. I know several people who really do operate in that space. Like, man, that's my I know that's my Facebook friend. I don't have any of those. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that world. But again, and this is I'm talking about motherfuckers in my demographic. You get down to my shorties though, they be with their partners, texting and you know what I'm saying, DMing.
All of their friends are Facebook.
Everything is digital, bro. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a perversion of humanity in the future.
It's kind of wild, man. I was talking about concerts. I was talking about concerts with my partner because somebody was talking about like going to the concert, and it was I was watching R&B Money podcast, and Case was on there talking to them, and Case was like, man. He was like, I don't think that we don't get lost in the music as performers no more, like on stage and live shows. He was like, you know how like James Brown used to lose 10 pounds in a show because he was out his fucking mind
doing his thing.
Shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, that doesn't happen no more. He was like, one of the reasons I think, this was Case speaking, one of the reasons I think that is because of these damn cell phones, man. He was like, subconsciously, when you walk out there and all these cell phones in your face, it doesn't allow you to let go like that. You're like, oh shit, what if I slip up on a step, or what if I miss a word? And it's live to the whole world now. It's not just this intimate moment that we're having where we can be safe and free and let go. I don't post a lot of shit that I do. And sometimes I have days where at the end of my day, I'll be like, man, if I made this a whole fucking Instagram story, I might have had one of the coolest fucking days in the city today. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But none of that doesn't cross my mind. It doesn't matter to me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just present in the moment. I don't go to concerts. Why would I go to a concert for one of my favorite artists and watch the show that I'm in the same room with you and watch it through my phone? I'm right the fuck here. The whole show, I'm gonna look at it through my phone so I can show you the internet? Get the fuck out of here. Now, I can't get lost in the experience. I'm trying to make sure that the angle is right and I'm showing it right, and I'm not really singing the way I want to sing because I don't want to fuck up the video. Like, man, fuck you. I came here to see Boys to Men. I don't have no videos of the shit. I don't have none of that shit. I had a great fucking time. I have a great memory and experience, and that's it.
Y'all ever seen the person at the event talking to the camera?
Yes.
I've never understood that.
It's wild.
But now through this conversation, I do understand it. You there by yourself. Even if you're there with somebody,
right,
you're alone.
Right.
You don't have a bond for real.
Seeking external validation.
So you're seeking validation through somebody on the other side of that screen.
Yes.
Right? Because most times you go to an event like that, you're going with somebody. Most times. You know what I mean? And we're going to be lost in the experience of whatever that event together. You know
I'm gone. I mean? It's over with.
If you think about it, right? If
I
you
came
go
to see LOX. I did not come to record a video.
If you go to one of them experiences with somebody you don't like, you have the phone experience. I'm alone.
See, that's crazy.
That's crazy,
because
bro.
I wanna sing to the top of my lungs with the person next to me. I wanna elbow bump my homie when the favorite verse come on. Like, I wanna do all the shit. Like, y'all, that's what I'm here for.
Y'all know I don't go out, G. I don't be out like that. But New Edition come in, I'm there, bro.
Yeah.
Because we in that motherfucker whopping. It's popping.
It's cracking.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I came for.
And so many new age experiences don't allow for that because everybody's cool.
Too cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Too cool.
And I don't want to be there looking at everybody. I ain't that fucking cool. You know what I mean?
But I think it goes back. Well, clearly, that's what the conversation is when you talk about having these intimate friendships, these intimate connections. There are things that I would never speak about on this show because y'all be like, that's fucking crazy. But just moments that we've shared as friends, that's just like, yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Right between us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it has to happen.
Like that nobody was too cool for, that nobody was too, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that those spaces are created no more. Everybody is always on. To Case's point about these fucking cameras, I'm on now.
Everybody's a performer.
Yeah, everybody's performing now at all times. I don't want to live my life as a fucking performer.
Yeah, I think the implications of that are going to be really harmful, bro. Like, I think it's already happening, right? I think that energy is reflected in the kind of violence we see amongst young men. And I'm just not saying not having male friends. I'm talking about the totality of it all, right? All of this shit is designed a certain way to create more life. That's just what it is, right? I think I saw this little data study one time. It was like, man, it asked a dude how many beautiful women do you see in a day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might have polled 10, 15 men or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And the average man was like, man, I probably see 10 beautiful women a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then they asked a woman. Mm-hmm. And they was like, I don't see handsome men.
Right.
It's very, very rare. Right. So in context, it's like what attracts us is not the same. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Hence, men are much more visual. We can find beauty in some shit that another motherfucker be like, that's horrendous. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas women find that attraction through something different, obviously. You know what I mean? Else. So if it's not a visual thing, when you put everything on the fucking screen, where everything is communicated visually, you get a different kind of fucking result, bro. Yeah. As a dude, you gonna lose in that negotiation. Yeah. Hence, this pussy for sale.
Right.
Because I don't feel your vibe. I don't feel your energy. I'm not connected to you. We don't operate in attraction in the same way.
Right.
Right? It's why when you had a little poll of do you like a BBL, do you like a natural body?
Right.
Women immediately say men like BBLs because we are visual people.
Sure.
Right? But men was respond, at least in my mind, I think we responded to what we really like about women is the essence of the connection.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And in that vein, your little booty is as good as the BBL.
Works.
You know what I'm saying? It don't fucking matter. I'm not here because you got the perfectly rounded ass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which then begs the question, well, who are you doing this for? Right? I'm talking about women in relationships. Right? Women in relationships. It's like, oh, I need to go get this. And then your partner's like, no, you don't. Babe, you straight. Oh, I need this and that. Okay. But if we're in a relationship and I'm telling you you fine all the time and you cool, who are you doing this for? You or some other outside validate? Like what are you trying to validate with this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I think that all of these superficial things are having a huge impact on how we relate or how we don't relate. You know what I'm saying? You talk about the incel rate. That's crazy, for real.
I think words matter though, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ignorance is in abundance.
It's everywhere. You can
Right?
find it.
And I'm not even saying that in the negative context.
No, just
right?
lack of information.
You just lack the information, right? So again, and I make this argument all the time, we argue from the branch instead of from the root, you know. Even when you was like the Nori thing, when it was like loyalty or respect, and you said loyalty, I wouldn't have said loyalty. I would have said respect, right? In my anchoring in my life, even I might have formed this argument earlier wrong. I don't even believe in the construct of loyalty in the same way that it's being presented through that question in Nori asked.
Okay.
Right? I think I expect you to be loyal to you. Not me. To you. But as your friend who respects you, I should respect that loyalty and I should put you in a position to have to choose me or you. Because that's the only time loyalty matters. Right? You go into the goddamn courtroom, you know, and we in trouble. We in trouble for whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They called us. You know what I'm saying? I expect you to save you.
Right.
Not lie on me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever you got to do to save you that doesn't jeopardize me, which is a respect thing, I expect you to do that.
So to an extent, I agree with what you're saying. Because I'm this way in terms of people, right? And so people are like, yo, I'm this way on trust, right? So not necessarily loyalty, but on trust, I'm absolutely this way. You trust him? You trust her? Absolutely, I trust her. You know he'd come here and he'd steal everything in here. I fucking know that. But I know that. You know what I'm saying? I trust you to be who I've always known you to be.
Who you are.
Like, yeah, I know for 100% fact, if certain family members, if I leave them in my house and they in one of their zones, yep, that doesn't mean I don't trust you. I know you. I trust you to be exactly who I know you to be. And so then I won't put you in a situation.
I'm not gonna put you in a position to fuck me. Where it's gonna be another kind of problem.
Right. I won't put you in that situation to where you could harm me in that kind of way. But I do trust you. There are a million things that I would absolutely go right ahead. And there's some things like, no, I trust you to fuck this up.
I got a lot of partners who do shit I don't do.
Yeah.
I can't be involved in.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that.
Yeah.
So I make sure I'm not involved in it.
Not involved in that.
It's just
man.
that fucking simple.
I'm not involved in that, fam.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
Right? And I respect you.
Yeah.
Right? That's your journey, not mine though.
Right.
So I'm not gonna put myself in that position.
Right.
Right? Because you respect me, you would do the exact same.
Right.
You're not gonna put me in this position.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But if the chips fail,
Right.
we in a position.
Right.
I'm not gonna be loyal to your bullshit.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
You gonna eat your bullshit.
Oh yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me unloyal to me,
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
And matter of fact, out of respect for me, I expect you to pick up the pieces of your bullshit.
I'm gonna give you the first opportunity.
You know?
I'm gonna give you the first opportunity to be fucking loyal to me. You know what I'm saying? We riding the motherfucking car. You got a motherfucking unregistered pistol with shaved numbers, and we get pulled over. They found that pistol. I'm not gonna be like, it's yours, but I absolutely expect you to. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you the first opportunity to do it. If you shook in the moment, cool. I'll let you be shook all the way to the station.
It's my car, but your pistol.
Right.
It better be your fucking pistol by the time we get to the station.
We in my car, but it's your pistol.
Right. It better be your pistol by the time we get stopped.
I'm not going to be on the side of the road like, officer, that's his pistol. I'm going to give you all the opportunities in the world to handle that. All the way to the station. And I'm going to look at you, bro. We good? This is what we doing? Okay.
Hey, man, when we was younger,
Stop
bro.
playing.
Boog was the wildest human being on the planet Earth. There was no barriers to the shit Boog would do. None. No bullshit. Love Boog to death. But all that wild shit, I would hear through third parties.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a whole lot of time with Boog. None of that shit happened with me. Because there was a certain level of respect for me that I'm not going to do this bullshit with too.
Exactly.
But they come back and it, man, Boog, I said, boy, y'all allow that shit. In my mind, I'm like, y'all crazy as hell.
Y'all crazy.
You know, but again, there's a different level of respect for me than for y'all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't give a fuck what happened to y'all, it's obvious.
Right.
I.e., he doing this bullshit.
Right.
But when you with me, that's not gonna play, bro.
Not on that.
I don't move like that. You
Not
ain't
on
gonna put me in a position to have to move like
Not
that.
on that.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a very interesting dynamic. But again, right, that's those bonds that we learn to navigate very early, right? My wife just met a new family member, and we went and had dinner with him or whatever. Interesting character, you know what I'm saying? And we all went, me, my wife, my sister-in-law, her husband, we was all over there. And dude just got a different energy, you know what I mean? But obviously dude took some kind of liking to me, you know what I mean? He was like, man, he hit me like, man, come watch the football game with me. One, I ain't fucking with football.
Right.
But two, I understand your energy because I've been around your energy before. And I told my wife respectfully, no, that's not gonna happen. It's not nothing against dude, but I know me enough to know eventually that energy is gonna rub me this kind of a way and it's gonna be a bigger problem than I want to engage in. You know what I mean? But I can only identify that because I've been in enough circles to understand that personality archetype.
And I know me enough.
I know me enough.
People don't know themselves. Right? People still trying to figure out who the fuck I am. Man, you 30, 35, 40 years old, right? Not to say that everybody's not constantly evolving and ever learning, sure. But you need to know yourself enough to know where the fuck you should be and shouldn't be. What situations you can and cannot put yourself in. And I don't think we know that because I think we still be searching for that external validation. And that's what allows you to get made out of a goofy.
I agree about that external validation too, but I also think even the lack of natural validation or whatever, however you want to pose that, is that you're not being exposed enough to other environments and other situations. And that happens organically through experience, right? So getting back to the digital space, even, you know, negative relationships with women or, you know, vice versa, women with men or whatever, if you're picking from a calendar, you're not experiencing the brevity of the difference, right? In my network of friends, Boog is one of them three that I'm, you know, when you start anchoring in, I'm really close to. TJ is one of them three I'm really close to. And we all got our own idiosyncrasies. We conflict a lot.
Of course.
But I can fuck with this conflict. You know what I mean? Out of them other 12, and that's not to say I don't love them. You know, I love them all. But certain conflict, I ain't gonna engage. You know what I mean? Certain energy, I ain't gonna engage. But you don't even know what that is if you've not had that wealth of exposure and experience.
Yeah, I think that until you have those types of conversations where you can have the fucking conflict and you can have the fucking conversations, it's like I don't necessarily know where we on with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Or like men that have had those types of relationships, have been in those types of circles, they enter into shit very slowly, right? Very like, let me just peep game here, right? We talk all the time about how when P first jumped on the team with Herman too, that nigga I thought he was a mute. Like he didn't say a word for 2 weeks. That nigga came in, cameras, set up all the shit, boom, 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 boom. I send that to y'all, to my, okay, are you coming back again or no? Like, you know what I'm saying? Until he was like, okay, now I see how niggas move, and now we know he's the wildest nigga in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think he'd talk, and now I know he's the wildest nigga I've ever met.
That nigga shut up.
You know what I'm saying? But that's a sign of one, knowing yourself, what situations you can and can't put yourself into, but also having those experiences to know, hold on, let me just
you can't always just jump in the water, bro. You gotta test the water, flip side.
Because it also would tweak me out, like, a nigga we didn't know walked the hell with us for right now, and was just hella loud and fucking comfortable.
You just jump in, I be like, hold on, man.
Hold the fuck on. Who are you? Why are you touching shit? Like what? Like sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. You need those experiences, and it's gonna be a very, very interesting fucking study over the next 10 to 20 years.
It's gonna be some different shit, bro.
The impact of this shit.
It's going to be some very different shit. And I think there's a larger conversation that nobody's having. And I think it all is anchored into, one, the changing society, but we also got to be very conscious of where black people are on the total pole of access.
Yeah.
We're still at the bottom. So when we adapt to these new ideas and new philosophies without access into those worlds, that impact for them 10 years is going to look real different to us. You know what I mean? I said the other day, where's the black institution? Think about that shit. We don't think about this in context, but friendship is a fucking institution.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And a currency.
The family is a fucking institution.
And a currency.
And all of that shit, right? And poverty affects those institutions. It always has.
100%.
Right? So when you start thinking about the already, the weight of the impact of, we know we have an impoverished community.
Sure.
Right? And you think about all these new sects, this separating and breaking apart and redefining and man, what the fuck you gonna get out of this?
Who the fuck knows?
It's gonna be interesting to see.
I'll tell you one thing we're gonna do, man, just from this conversation alone, and we're gonna have expansions off of this conversation to do like a Patreon where we bring in all those brothers that we talk about to just have that conversation expounded upon. You know what I'm saying? Because I would want to hear that from Ron and from P, and I want to bring in, our friends, our brothers to have this conversation be expounded upon. And I also want to expound upon the conversation of what that looks like from the point of like a spouse or a marriage type thing, and how those things kind of relate or don't relate, and what outcomes come from that, man. I think it's a couple cool conversations that we can have just around this conversation, man. But definitely extremely important for men and boys to have those types of connections, man, to have those types of relationships that anchor you, you know what I'm saying, that build a foundation upon which you will be the man that you're going to be. And I think, certainly I know for sure, without me having that, I know I'll be different. I don't even know how different or what that would look like. But yeah, man, I'm glad we had this conversation for sure.
That's real shit, man. It's necessary, bro. And again, we didn't hinge on this, but I brought up the conversation about the young man that got shot under the train.
Yeah.
Today I saw a video released of the O Block 6, the ones convicted of the murder of FBG Duck.
Right.
It was, I don't remember, the date or the time, but it was last year. I remember there was a conversation about a young man that got shot at lunchtime at Kenwood. Right?
Yeah, I remember that.
The nature of these crimes are so disconnected from humanity, bro.
Yeah.
That we need to be paying attention to the totality of it all. And we also need to be investing in our young men in a way of trying to understand them, right? And I oftentimes hear, like, let's listen to the children. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that philosophy. I think a healthy parent makes for a healthy child. A healthy community makes for a healthy adult, right? And I keep saying we are in this kind of Peter Pan syndrome of perpetual childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we engage and normalize and make it okay for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can't think of too many adults that ain't on their phone all day like this.
Right.
My demographic and my peer group, I ain't talking to kids on social media when I'm on there.
Right.
The people that I do follow are my peers.
Right.
I can look on there and see you've been on this shit all day.
Right.
I know other people who don't put shit up there, but is on there all day. You probably the worst offender.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because all you doing is looking at somebody else's shit, right? And you normalize this shit as a culture, right? And it becomes a fucking cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Its own ecosystem.
It becomes its own ecosystem, but the repercussions of those behaviors play out under L's, play out in gas stations, play out in high schools, because everybody's fucking disconnected.
That lack of connectivity, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to this conversation, to this edition of Herb and Two, this Relationship Friday edition of Herb and Two. We always set aside one show a week to talk about relationships. If you're new to this thing of ours, welcome. We talk about relationships on Fridays. That may be romantic, it may be platonic, it may be parental, it may be business relationships, community relationships. We think that the idea of having these relationship conversations are fundamental and foundational to everything else we want to build on top of it. When you talk about economics or education or agriculture or whatever it may be, we got to get our relationships right. And so we set aside our Friday shows for a relationship conversation. Thank y'all for tuning in to this edition of Relationship Friday. Huge shout out to the team. P is the best. Ron is the best. E is the best. Two is the best. I am also the best. For Two, my name is Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Pick your head up, stick your chest out, walk like a warrior. Salam alaikum.
I like that. Still not changing.